The League of Women Voters of Milwaukee County is delighted to honor our 2022 lifetime member, Joanne Barndt, for her half-century of service to the League. So Joanne, what issue was of the greatest interest to you in the League, and how did you engage with it?
I think that the very first thing that I got involved with, because my interest was in voter registration, excuse me, was to help out with the naturalization ceremonies. I remember that the president at that time gave me a call. There was a need because someone couldn't be there. Would I come? Well, yes, and the rest was history. So I have been helping out with the naturalization ceremonies, what seems like forever.
Wonderful, wonderful. And what brought you to the League in the beginning?
Well, I grew up in a family where my mother was a poll worker. And so after school, even as early as being 7 or 8 years old, on election day, I'd always run over to where my mother was working for the polls. And so I just assumed that that was an event that everybody did, that everybody in the neighborhood would come and vote. Well, it wasn't until I was in college that I realized, where I saw some statistics that, everybody does not vote. And how could that be? And that's what brought me to the League.
Wonderful. So is there any memorable anecdotes you'd like to relate about your work in the League?
I can't think of an anecdote, but again, having to do with voting and naturalization. And here, Ann, I'm going to need your help possibly because I can't remember the judge's name. But she is from Haiti, and she tells her story of becoming an American and then eventually a judge. So I'm embarrassed that I can't remember her name, but I can tell you her whole story. And I'm sure there are many, many others who have that same story.
That's great. I'm embarrassed. I can't remember her name either. So I'm embarrassed with you there. Where do you think the League has been most effective in affecting the lives of citizens in Milwaukee and then in the U.S.?
In Milwaukee, I go back to our emphasis on voter registration. And in addition to the naturalization, because we are not doing as good a job in K through 12, talking about civics and about voting, that's an area where the League has come in to try to fill in for what all of us used to receive while we were in elementary and secondary school. I think the other thing is that teaching people how to evaluate a candidate so that they don't get caught up in all the rhetoric, but to really look at, how would this candidate respond to my needs? And through our candidate forums, I think that has been a big service to Milwaukee. Nationally, sometimes we have to fight things in court. And I think on the national level, the energy that has gone into the court cases, supporting cases that have been brought by other organizations, and also the ones that the League itself has brought to the attention of the powers that be.
Well, thank you very much. And I'm realizing, of course, when I joined the League, you were our local president, and I really enjoyed the time that you were president, as I have enjoyed several since. Are there any issues that you feel the league should direct its attention to, either in initial studies or in more focused actions?
I thought about this. I mean, there's so many important things that the league does, and or wishes that it had time to do. But I think that the one thing I would like to see happen, and I don't know if it's ever going to be possible, is to not have to do voter registration, but rather to be able to advocate for registration at the time that you turn 18. So that just like with other things that happen when you turn 18, that it's automatic. I don't know if it should be connected to driver's licenses, because that doesn't always include everybody, but that somehow, some way, when on your 18th birthday, you automatically become registered to vote.
That's a wonderful sentiment. Well, Joanne, it's been a pleasure talking to you, and thank you so much for 51 years of service to the league. It's a great pleasure talking to you. Thank you.
And same here.